mind showing Yonaguni again? That, to me, that's a wild one. See, the other stuff, I'm like, things look weird in nature sometimes, and I'm not an expert. It's blurry, it's green, it's odd. If you were there physically, you would have a different impression of it. But Yonaguni, to me, blows me away. This blows me away, but the other image blows me away. Curved front of that feature.
So there's that tunnel.
That's crazy too. That's crazy too, because the lines line up. It looks like two blocks were cut and placed on each side. And there seems like a very clear passageway in between them.
Especially since at the end of the passageway, you're confronted by this.
These are crazy. Like, if these are natural formations, they are so bizarre that you have enormous straight lines and right angles, and not just straight on one side, straight on all sides.
So look at this slide. You can see what Graham is calling blocks. You can see these sort of straight angles that are made.
How do you think they were placed in that manner?
Well, I don't know if they were placed.
Show me the other one with the front curved surface. This looks crazy. Like this, the whole thing looks crazy. The steps look crazy. The fact that it's all this one uniform flat line. Some of these look bizarre.
Nature sometimes looks bizarre, though. I mean,
right.
Assuming that people have investigated this, like geologists.
Professor Masaki Kimura has investigated it, and he's published extensively on it. He's a geologist. He's absolutely convinced that Yonaguni has been worked extensively by human hands.
I've seen a lot of crazy natural stuff, and I see nothing here that to me reminds me of human architecture. And I've seen human architecture all over the world. It's certainly crazy, I'll give you that.
Very bizarre. How it juts off and it's flat below it in a uniform line. The curved surface of the front of it is very bizarre too.
Stone oftentimes fractures in straight way.
Yeah, I get it.
This was a tough dive, massive currents there. This is Kerema in the Okinawa group of islands. To me, Flint, it's stunning that you see that as a totally natural thing, but I guess we've just got very different eyes. The central upright, surrounded by upright megaliths, all cut out of the bedrock, very similar to the chamber recently excavated at Karahan Tepe. It seems to me inconceivable that nature could have made this, that nature could have separated out this central upright and then created the uprights surrounding it in such a perfect way.
But it's not totally perfect, right? Look at the back. The back is much larger. That seems like it's cut out, and then there's a piece in front that seems like it's cut out, but even the one to the lower left, it's not cut the same. It's interesting.
My point is, not nearly enough work has been done by archaeology.
And how long ago was supposedly was this above ground?
About 13,000 years ago.
What is the most compelling evidence that you've seen in an underwater site?
I'm only showing a fraction of the slides that we have from Yonaguni. Yonaguni isn't simply that terrace, it's a whole series of monuments which continue over a distance of a couple of miles underwater. There's a huge stone face carved out of the rock. It's the combination of all of these different things across an area of 2 miles off the island of Yonaguni that make that one of my high priority sites for man-made workmanship. And the Indian sites are also extremely intriguing, and unfortunately none of that work has been followed up. When we come to what you call rescue archaeology, Flint, the last place on Earth that I would look for the remains of a lost civilization is Northern Europe. Because Northern Europe was a frozen wilderness during the Ice Age. And the place to look is down near the tropics, places that weren't horrifically cold and unbearable during the Ice Age. And when you talk about rescue archaeology, this is one of the problems I have, is that there is no targeted search for the possibility of a lost civilization, because archaeology is already convinced that no such thing could have existed. So what we get is accidental discoveries. Somebody's building a road or building a dam. They call in the archaeologist to see if there's any archaeology that's going to be disrupted. But this is not a targeted search for a lost civilization. This is accidental discovery. That in the Amazon rainforest, in the Sahara Desert, in the 27 million square kilometers of continental shelves, massively underserved by archaeology, and in other areas of the world, archaeology's focus is on very limited parts of those, not on massive parts of them. And then, I'm sure you know this, Flint, that when we come to most archaeological sites, the amount of the site that is excavated is rarely more than 5%. and often less than that. And that's for good motives, to preserve the site for future generations of archaeologists to investigate. It doesn't, I think, allow archaeologists to lay such claim to the past that they can absolutely rule out any possibility of a lost civilization.